Wreck-It Ralph, Chapter 5. The anniversary cake was impressive. It was tall and frosted with candy windows and sugar that had been spun on top to create a sweet version of "We Love You, Felix" fireworks. "Well, I've been dipped, Mary," Felix said happily. "You really outdone yourself." The Nicelanders gathered around the cake. "Nice work with the fondant," Troy exclaimed. "And look, there's Elves at the top," Jean said, pointing. "Oh, we're just adorable," someone else said. All the Nicelanders were pleased. Mary, dressed in a prim little purple suit, smiled. "City department is everyone's favorite flavor," she said proudly. "Norwood is red velvet." "Guilty, Nicelander," Norwood laughed. "A lemon for Lucy, rum for cake for Jean, and for Felix, vanilla," the Nicelanders shouted in unison. Ralph stood behind everyone and looked at the cake. A little candy Felix stood on the roof, smiling and reaching for a medal. At the bottom of the building, in the mud, sat an ugly, pitiful Candy Ralph. "And this mudworm stuck. What is it made of?" Ralph asked. "Chocolate," Mary replied. "I've never been real fond of chocolate," Ralph said. "Well, I did not know that," Mary responded. Then he nodded at the little Ralph figurine. "One other little thing. I hate to be picky, but do you really think this looks like me?" Bent down and put his face next to the figure for comparison. "Yes," Mary said simply. "Artistic inspiration," Ralph said helpfully. "Well, my inspiration, this little guy, would be a lot happier if we put him on top with everyone else," Ralph replied, reaching out toward the Candy Ralph. To everyone's shock, he picked up the figurine and placed it on top of the cake, smearing Mary's frosting. No, Jean said quickly. "There's no room for you up there." He knocked the Candy Ralph back down into the mud, messing up the cake even farther. "Well, what about this?" Ralph said, taking the miniature Felix from the top of the cake and moving him into the mud. We can make some room. There, that's much better." The Nicelanders gasped in horror. "How can we just eat the cake?" Felix said anxiously. "Hang on," Jean said. "Felix needs to be on the roof because everyone is cheering for him and he's about to get his medal." Ralph reached again and took off the medal of the cake, breaking the spun sugar fireworks. Then how about we just take the medal and give it to little Ralph for a change?" The crowd stared wide-eyed as Ralph put on the medal on little Ralph. "They're just being ridiculous," Ralph said. "And you're pretty. Only good guys with medals. And you, sir, are no good guy." Ralph stood up the mall. "Well, I suppose I could win a medal. Then you let me up here, right, Ralph?" Jean said with a mocking smile. "If you win a medal, we'll let you live up here in the penthouse." The Nicelanders all laughed. Jean pulled the medal off and the little Candy Ralph and put it on the Candy Felix. No. And Jean put off the medal off the little Candy Ralph and put it on the Candy Felix. "But it will never happen because you're just the bad guy who wrecks the building." "No, I'm not," Ralph said a little too loudly. "Yes, you are." Jean dropped the little Candy Ralph in the mud upside down. Flashers Ralph freed his huge fist, then slammed them down the cake, splattering ever. "No, I'm not!" he shouted. Everyone froze. Ralph looked around at the Nicelanders' disturbed face, now covered in cake. He dropped his head. "You know what?" Ralph said. "I'm going to win a medal. The shinest medal this place has ever scene. Then he turned toward the door. Good night. Thank you for the party. Roy turned to the other bystanders. Is he being serious? Please, scoffed Gene. Where's the bad guy going to get a medal?